Ryan was only 25 years old, but every morning already felt exactly the same. The same grocery store lights, the same endless shifts, the same exhausted walk home with aching feet and an empty mind. For 5 long years, he worked harder than almost everyone around him. He showed up early, stayed late, followed every rule, and saved every extra dollar he could. Yet somehow, his life never truly moved forward. Month after month, he opened his savings account hoping to finally see progress, only to feel the same quiet disappointment sinking into his chest again. The numbers barely changed. His dreams felt even farther away than before. And deep inside, a terrifying question slowly began haunting him every night. What if hard work alone was never enough? What if the reason so many people stay poor has nothing to do with laziness, but with the way they think? Ryan could feel himself becoming trapped inside a cycle that millions of people know too well. Work, save, wait. Work harder. Save more. Wait longer. Meanwhile, other people somehow escaped. Other people built wealth. Other people made money work for them instead of spending their entire lives working for money. But how? That question consumed Ryan's mind until one conversation changed everything. A conversation with a wealthy man who revealed a secret most struggling people never discover. The wealthy think differently. And once Ryan understood that difference, his life would never look the same again. Every morning before sunrise, Ryan stood beneath the cold, fluorescent lights of the grocery store, feeling like another invisible part of the building itself. The automatic doors opened. Customers walked in and out. Registers beeped endlessly. Boxes were unloaded. Shelves were restocked. And day after day, year after year, his life repeated itself so perfectly that sometimes he wondered if time had simply stopped moving. At 25 years old, Ryan already felt exhausted in a way that sleep could not fix. For 5 years, he had worked inside that store doing everything he was supposed to do. He stayed responsible. He avoided trouble. He saved as much money as he could from every paycheck. While his friends spent money carelessly, Ryan sacrificed small pleasures, believing discipline would eventually reward him. But every month ended the same way. He opened his banking app late at night with nervous hope in his chest, only to stare silently at numbers that barely changed. It was crushing. Not because he expected to become rich overnight, but because deep down, he realized he was running out of energy faster than he was building a future. By the time his shifts ended each evening, Ryan felt completely drained. His feet ached. His back burned from standing all day. Sometimes he sat alone outside the store for several minutes before walking home because he could barely find the strength to move again. The city lights blurred around him while tired customers rushed past carrying groceries to warm homes and comfortable lives. Meanwhile, Ryan felt stuck inside an endless cycle. Work, save, wait, work harder, save more, wait longer, and still, nothing changed. The worst part was not the low salary. It was the feeling that life was quietly slipping away while he remained standing in the exact same place. He wanted more for himself. More freedom, more peace, more opportunity. But after years of exhaustion, even dreaming started to feel dangerous. Because every dream was followed by the same painful thought. How am I sup? One evening after another exhausting shift, Ryan heard coworkers talking about a wealthy man named Mr. Dana who lived in a nearby village. People spoke about him differently than other rich businessmen. They said he was calm, peaceful, never rushed. While most people worked endlessly for money, somehow his money worked for him. That sentence stayed in Ryan's mind all night. The next morning, before the sun fully rose, Ryan made a decision that felt strangely important. Instead of sleeping late on his day off, he put on his cleanest clothes and began walking toward Mr. Dana's village. The journey took nearly an hour. Cool morning air moved gently through the empty roads, while soft orange sunlight slowly spread across the horizon. Ryan walked quietly, his hands in his pockets, his mind racing with questions he had never been able to answer on his own. How do rich people think differently? What do they understand that ordinary workers never learn? And most importantly, was it actually possible for someone like him to escape the life he felt trapped inside? With every step forward, Ryan felt both nervous and hopeful. Part of him feared he was wasting his time chasing unrealistic dreams. But another part, a part he thought had disappeared years ago, began feeling something dangerous again. Curiosity. Because deep down, Ryan knew one thing for certain. If he kept living exactly the same way, his future would never change. When Ryan finally arrived at Mr. Dana's property, he expected to see a busy, wealthy businessman surrounded by workers, phones, and endless responsibilities. Instead, he found something completely different. Mr. Dana sat quietly beneath a large tree overlooking open fields, glowing beneath the morning sun. A cup of coffee rested beside him while a soft breeze moved through the branches overhead. There was no stress in his face, no rush in his movements, no chaos surrounding him, just peace. For a moment, Ryan simply stood there confused. How could someone so wealthy look so calm, while everyone else spent their lives exhausted? Then he realized something that immediately struck him deep inside. Mr. Dana was not working for money every minute of the day. His money was working for him. Ryan approached carefully, almost intimidated by the quiet confidence surrounding the older man. "Good morning, Mr. Dana," he said nervously. "I hope I'm not disturbing you." Mr. Dana looked up and smiled warmly. "Not at all. Sit down. Tell me what brings you here." Ryan sat beneath the tree and, for the first time in years, honestly spoke about his frustrations. He explained the grocery store job, the exhaustion, the endless saving that never seemed to change anything. He admitted how trapped he felt watching life move forward while his own future stayed painfully still. "I work hard every day," Ryan said quietly, "but no matter how much I save, it feels like I'm getting nowhere." Mr. Dana listened without interrupting. Then he leaned back slightly and nodded, as if he had heard this story many times before. "That's because hard work alone rarely creates freedom," he said calmly. "Most people spend their entire lives trading time for money. The wealthy learn how to make money grow, without depending only on their labor." Ryan felt his heart begin beating faster. This was exactly what he had come searching for. Mr. Dana picked up his coffee slowly before continuing. "Passive income is not only for rich people," he explained. "That is the biggest lie ordinary workers believe. Even small money can grow if you understand how to use it correctly." Ryan stared at him in silence. For the first time, wealth no longer sounded like something reserved for other people. It sounded possible. Mr. Dana looked directly into his eyes. "I'm going to teach you 7 steps," he said firmly. 7 lessons that can completely change the way you think about money, work, and freedom. But you must listen carefully, because most people never learn these principles until it's too late. At that moment, Ryan felt something inside him awaken. Hope. Mr. Dana placed his coffee cup down slowly and looked directly at Ryan. "Most people never escape financial struggle," he said quietly. "Not because they are lazy, but because nobody ever teaches them how money actually works." Ryan leaned forward instantly, afraid to miss a single word. "The first step," Mr. Dana continued, "is simple. Save money first, before investing, before dreaming big, before anything else." He pointed toward the village nearby. "A man without savings has no freedom. Even a small amount matters, because small discipline becomes large discipline later." Ryan nodded slowly. That part made sense. "But the second step is where most people fail," Mr. Dana said firmly. "They start earning a little more money, and immediately try to look rich." He laughed softly and shook his head. "New phones, expensive cars, designer clothes. Most people stay poor, trying to impress other poor people." Ryan felt slightly embarrassed hearing those words. Just weeks earlier, he had nearly spent his savings on a motorcycle he did not truly need. "Luxury can wait," Mr. Dana continued. "Freedom cannot." Then he stood up and gestured for Ryan to walk with him through the village roads. "The third step," he said, "is learning to see opportunities." As they walked, he pointed toward different homes nearby. "That man started a small Wi-Fi business from one internet connection. That woman sells homemade snacks online. Another family rents farmland during harvest season." Ryan looked around with widening eyes. He had passed these streets hundreds of times before, but for the first time, he saw possibility instead of limitation. "The world is full of income opportunities," Mr. Dana said, "but most people are too distracted by survival to notice them." Ryan felt something shift inside his mind. "So, what happens after I find an opportunity?" he asked quickly. Mr. Dana smiled. "That is the 4th step. Start immediately." Ryan blinked in surprise. "Most people wait forever," Mr. Dana continued. "They wait for perfect timing, more money, more confidence, more certainty. But successful people begin before they feel ready." He stopped walking and looked Ryan directly in the eyes. "Start small. Learn while moving. Those words hit Ryan deeply. The fifth step, Mr. Dana continued, is reinvestment. When your business earns money, do not waste the profits celebrating too early. Use those profits to expand. He pointed toward a nearby house. Rudy started with one Wi-Fi router. Today he covers half the village because he kept reinvesting instead of showing off. Ryan could almost feel his perspective changing in real time. And the sixth step, Mr. Dana said more seriously, is diversification. Never depend on one source of income forever. Why? Ryan asked. Because one income stream can disappear overnight, Mr. Dana replied calmly. The wealthy survive because they build multiple streams. One supports the other. Ryan stood silently, absorbing every lesson. Then Mr. Dana gave the final step. The seventh step, he said slowly, is patience. The older man's voice became quieter now. Most people quit too early. They want success immediately. But wealth grows like a tree. Slowly, quietly, over time. He looked toward the horizon, while sunlight spread across the fields. You must keep learning, keep adapting, keep improving. Because the moment you stop growing, your income stops growing too. For several seconds, Ryan said nothing. His heart pounded with excitement. These 7 steps were not complicated. That was what shocked him most. Yet suddenly, he understood why so many people remain trapped forever. Not because opportunity did not exist, but because discipline, patience, and long-term thinking are rare. And for the Ryan walked home that day feeling different. For years, he had searched for motivation, but now, for the first time, he finally had direction. The very next morning, he opened his online shopping app and stared at the expensive phone he had planned to buy for months. Slowly, he closed the app without purchasing it. Mr. Dana's words echoed inside his mind. Luxury can wait, freedom cannot. Instead of spending money carelessly, Ryan began saving with purpose. Every dollar now felt like a tool instead of temporary pleasure. But the biggest change was not his money. It was the way he started looking at the world around him. Suddenly, opportunities appeared everywhere. He noticed how busy apartment workers struggled to find time to wash clothes. He saw small businesses needing delivery help. He realized that ordinary problems could become income opportunities for people willing to solve them. And this time, Ryan refused to wait for the perfect moment. Because he finally understood something powerful. Knowledge means nothing without action. So after work each evening, while most people watched television or scrolled endlessly through social media, Ryan began building a small laundry pickup service using the little savings he had. He wrote plans inside a cheap notebook, calculated costs carefully, and mapped out simple goals step by step. The business was small, almost invisible at first, but for the first time in his life, Ryan no longer felt lost. He had a plan, and that changed everything. At first, Ryan's laundry business was incredibly small. Some days he only had 1 or 2 customers, other days, none at all. But unlike the old Ryan who once gave up easily, this version of him stayed patient. He kept improving the service, arriving on time, treating customers professionally, and reinvesting every extra dollar instead of wasting it. Then, slowly, things began changing. One customer recommended him to another. Apartment workers started calling regularly. Within months, Ryan earned his first real profit outside the grocery store. He still remembered staring silently at the numbers late one night, barely believing what he was seeing. For the first time in his life, money was entering his account even while he slept. That feeling changed him completely. As the business grew, Ryan bought additional washing machines and eventually hired someone to help with deliveries. Soon, he added a small ironing service and partnered with local apartment buildings for regular contracts. One income stream became 2, then 3. And suddenly, the lesson Mr. Dana taught him beneath that tree became real. Money was finally working for him. The exhausted grocery store employee who once felt trapped inside survival mode was gone. In his place stood a man building freedom step by step with discipline, patience, and action. 5 years later, Ryan returned to the same quiet village road where his life had first begun to change. But this time, everything felt different. He arrived in his own car, dressed confidently, no longer carrying the exhausted expression of a man trapped by survival. His businesses were stable now. Multiple income streams supported him quietly in the background, giving him something he once thought only wealthy people could experience: peace. As Ryan walked toward the large tree, he saw Mr. Dana sitting in the same place, calm as ever, watching the sunrise spread across the fields. Ryan smiled warmly. "You changed my life," he said honestly. "Mister." Dana looked at him for a long moment before shaking his head gently. "No," he replied softly. "You changed your own life. I only showed you the door." Those words stayed with Ryan forever. Because deep down, he finally understood the truth. Freedom was never created by luck, talent, or perfect timing. It was built slowly through discipline, patience, and the courage to begin before feeling ready. Ryan's story is not really about money. It is about mindset. The moment he stopped living only to survive and started building for the future, everything began changing. That is the real power of wealth thinking. Passive income, discipline, patience, and daily action may seem small in the beginning, but over time, they completely transform a person's life. Financial freedom does not start with millions of dollars. It starts with one decision. One decision to think differently. One decision to stop wasting time. One decision to build instead of only struggle. So now the question is not whether Ryan changed his life. The question is, will you? If this story inspired you, subscribe to Lessons for Life Tales for more life-changing stories every week. And before you leave, comment below with one thing you will start building today. Remember this: your future changes the moment you decide to stop surviving and start building.